tribes have faced a competitive disadvantage when litigating against powerful forces. With its American Indian law and policy practice, Robbins Kaplan, LLP, seeks to redefine excellence for high-stakes litigation in Indian country. They have worked hand-in-hand with tribes to implement the Tribal Law and Order Act, fighting against diminishment of tribal lands and natural resources, and improving public safety on reservations. The Robbins Kaplan American Indian Law and Policy Practice serves tribes and individuals on commercial, government investigations, agency and tribal boundary disputes, as well as personal injury. Founded and led by former United States Attorneys Brendan Johnson and Tim Purdon, their American Indian Law and Policy Practice exists to bring justice to tribal clients whose claims in the past have been dismissed or ignored due to their underdog status. If you or your tribe are facing legal issues, contact robinskaplan.com or call toll-free at 1-800-553-9910.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hey man, are you going to the vaccination party after school?
True that. What are you guys talking about? What party?
Oh hey, there's going to be a party soon for anyone who's vaccinated. A lot of people are going to be there. Bro, you should definitely go get vaccinated. It's like a shield against COVID.
I don't know. I'm not so sure.
Do us a favor and get vaccinated, bruh. We'll even go with you.
Come on, it's going to be all good. Once you get vaccinated, we can go to the party together.
This message is brought to you by McGee Communications and Minnesota Department of Health.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies overnight with a low around 11 below. Thursday sunny with a high near 3, and Friday sunny with a high around 12. Vinaigrette is locally owned and has been offering the finest olive oils and vinegars since 2009. They have everything from darker white balsamic to cold-pressed extra virgin olive oils from all over the world. Vinaigrette is located at 50th and Xerxes in Minneapolis or at vinaigrettemn.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings that wounded me.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and my colonized name is Robert Pilot, and we discuss local and national news and events all over Turtle Island. And as you know, Wendy, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Alliance Energy, powering beyond.
Hey, we got Winona LaDuke on today. We're checking in on a couple things, but we're excited to have her on, and we're going to have her on live here over the phone. And we're still trying to get Bob Blake from Red Lake. He's in a big meeting right now, and he doesn't know if he'll be able to make it today. So I just wanted to give Ogama and Wendy a heads up that we might be doing a puppet show during the time he's supposed to be on. So get ready and get your there you go, get your fingers and stuff ready, and we'll work on the script. But it'll be exciting to have Winona on, and we're going to be talking about some things that are happening up in the deep north. But without any further ado, we're going to talk about some news that you don't hear anywhere else on Turtle Island, and we're going to start the show off as we always do with the news with Ogama. Welcome, Ogama.
Bonjour, Ani and Robert Wendy. For those who are listening, I'm Ogamaganui and I am from the Red Lake Nation in northern Minnesota. I live in central Minnesota now, and my name means strong golden eagle woman. Anin bonjour to you, Joseph Peltier III. I see you in our comments over here. Just want to give a shout out today for those who are tuning in and listening, and making sure to ask you to share this stream to help support the work of Native Roots Radio. We appreciate you very much for tuning in. Big news happening tonight. The hearing for the Line 5 IES, or also known as Environmental Impact Statement, the draft for it for Line 5 in Wisconsin, that hearing is happening right now. Through the Wisconsin DNR. You can go over to the sierraclub.org/Wisconsin, and right on their calendar on the front page shows you what's happening tonight. This hearing is currently happening. I actually have it on a computer next to me, waiting to speak about Line 5 and the dangers of Enbridge Energy and what happened here in Minnesota related to Line 3, since I had to witness so much of that in the past year and have known a lot about this issue for the past several years. So waiting to speak, and they will continue this meeting, I believe, until everybody who has raised a hand and wants to testify at this meeting has spoken. So if you still have a chance to get in, again, go to sierraclub.org/Wisconsin, and you can listen in or see if you can still testify for the hearing on the draft environmental impact statement for Line 5 in Wisconsin to protect the Superior watershed and stand in solidarity with the Bad River Nation. So that's something you can do today, and I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. We're going to be talking a lot about kind of what's happening up here, as Winona LaDuke calls it, the deep north. So I wanted to maybe just get a little bit more broad with news today. If you have not heard, I know that we've mentioned it on Native Roots Radio, but our relative and activist Leonard Peltier, political prisoner, has tested positive for COVID-19 at the Coleman Federal Correctional Complex in Florida. Peltier is 77 years old, and he does meet the requirements to be released per the federal administration's release policy for COVID-19, and he has still not been released. So if you have not today yet, take some time to do what you can to free Leonard Peltier, send a letter, make a phone call, do those things to protect our relative and political prisoner who's been wrongly convicted and in prison for a crime he did not commit since, I believe, 1976. He suffers from a heart problem and diabetes, and was convicted of killing 2 FBI agents on the Pine Ridge Reservation after the Wounded Knee standoff. So, or during the Wounded Knee standoff, I think it was during, but make sure you're taking time to do that as well.
It was a few years after. It was like 3 years after the Wounded Knee.
Yeah, yep. The other thing I wanted to do to put out some prayers for our relatives on the Lame Deer Reservation. Just Lame Deer High School is experiencing a huge COVID outbreak right now. From October 31st until now, the Native News Online reports that 1 out of 5 students at Lame Deer High School and elementary school staff have been reported as having COVID-19, and they're having a really hard time with these outbreaks and deaths related to COVID-19. So we want to make sure that we are sending our prayers out and uplifting the Lame Deer community out in Montana. And it's close to my heart, the Lame Deer community. When I was in college, we traveled out to the Lame Deer Boys and Girls Club and volunteered some of our time there through the American Indian Center at the college that I went to. And whenever I see things like that, it really breaks my heart because it's a hard community to live in out there, to be so rural and so disconnected, and then to have COVID-19 like that. It just prayers up for them. Robert, Wendy, have you heard about the Freedom Convoy blockade at the Alberta border?
I have not. Thank you. Well, thank you, because I'm going to hear about it now.
So apparently,
I was going to listen to the shows to hear stuff like this. So go ahead, Ogama.
There's a demonstration going on at the Alberta border, and motorists and local residents, according to BBC, have actually reportedly been stuck in a standstill since the protests began on Saturday. They're talking about a nationwide freedom convoy in Canada over the new restrictions of unvaccinated cross-border truckers. So they're essentially blocking a portion of the Alberta border, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, have said that this event is unlawful, and they said that extensive efforts to negotiate with protesting organizers has failed, and the force has tapped into additional resources to make arrests or tow trucks as needed. And this is pulling in some pretty serious not necessarily like allegations yet, but Indigenous and environmental activists are really watching how the RCMP is treating these protesters at the border because of the Wet'suwet'en land defenders, the Mi'kmaq tribes, and their lawyer and professor and activist, Pam Palmater, says that blockades from Indigenous groups that have been deemed illegal, like the Alberta Convoy protest, very similar to what's happening right now with this Alberta Convoy protest, have typically faced harsher and swifter enforcement, and that they're saying there's a double standard in police enforcement depending on what the demonstration is about. The Ottawa Police Service announced that 2 arrests have been made, one for mischief and one for carrying a weapon to a public meeting. And they're related to these investigations for the demonstrations, but there are currently what's happening now is nothing compared to the violence and the weaponry that was brought when they shut down Wet'suwet'en land protectors for similar blockades, either for trains or roads. So this is its 4th day, I believe, in Alberta. The U.S.-Canadian border entered its 4th day before the Royal Canadian Mounted Police even took enforcement action as of yesterday. So it was 4 days they were allowed to blockade this, and nothing happened. And water protectors and Wet'suwet'en land protectors in Canada have we're familiar with this in the deep north, aren't we, Robert, Wendy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, didn't you say 1,000 water protectors are incarcerated and waiting trial? Mm-hmm.
Have been charged, arrested, or waiting something related to charges. Yep.
Hey, we'll be right back. Thanks, Ogama, with Winona LaDuke.
Stay with us.
I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Bonjour relatives, my name is Deanna Sandycloud. I'm from the Red Lake Nation and I live in Minneapolis today. As the weather gets colder, you're probably going to spend more time indoors, but it's important to stay safe and healthy. The COVID-19 pandemic is still not over, and now the flu season is upon us. So protect you and your loved ones by getting vaccinated against both the flu and COVID-19. COVID booster shots have now been approved for Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. And you're eligible if you're over 65 and if you're over 18 and have underlying health conditions or work in a high-risk setting. What's cool is your booster shot does not need to be of the same brand as your original series of shots. And you can receive a booster shot of any brand that's available to you. Children over the age of 5 are now eligible for a vaccine as well. So let's protect our relatives in Indian country this winter and get vaccinated. Be a vaccinative like me. Find a vaccination site by calling 651-304-9986 or visit vaccineconnector.mn.gov. Miigwech Bizendawian.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by MN350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice.
Well, hey, thanks, Wendy. We are really excited here on Native Roots Radio to have Winona LaDuke, who's the founder of the Honor the Earth and CEO of Honor the Earth. And we have things that we need to talk about. And welcome, Winona.
How are you, Robert and Wendy? Nice to hear your voices.
It's always an honor to have you on, and it's always a double-edged sword because there's always something going on up there in the deep north, isn't there?
Oh, that's so funny. Don't try to pretend like I'm like the bearer of bad news or something.
No, we know that.
It's really not my fault. It's really not my fault. But I just like wander around the woods up here, and I was like, "Holy fuck! It's another bad idea. Unbelievable! The Waltz administration." Every time I turned around, I was like, "What, you guys asleep down there, or what's going on?"
Exactly.
Anyway.
Hey, so you had this article in MinPost that is blowing up all over the internet, and it's the latest bad idea: Hubbard Mill near Leech Lake Reservation. Fill our audience in all over Turtle Island. What the heck is going on now?
Okay, well, what's going on is that the coal plants are closing down. In the meantime, so Governor Walz says if the coal plants is going to cool down, we need a just transition. We need a new set of jobs, right? So his idea is build the largest, could be, not sure, could be the largest oriented strand board plant in the country up there in Cohasset, right next to the Leech Lake Reservation. Now, these guys, Schubert, they're out of like the Carolinas. They're like the deep south, these guys. And they want to come up and build this giant plant that uses all these kind of chemicals and stuff. And then they're going to like basically use 450,000 cords a year of forest, like munch the forest.
Wow.
Munch the forest. I mean, it's just like the state itself only allocates about 800,000 cords a year. This is like 450,000 cords a year. So it's like huge pressure on the woods. We already took a lot of hits, and you cannot harvest maple syrup in a clear cut. Kim, look, it's a really bad idea. And the most crazy thing is what kind of government is this in Minnesota? So they declare that the city of Cohasset with 2,500 people should be the responsible government unit that should review this and issue an approval on if the project should go ahead. And they exempt the project, unbelievably, from an environmental impact statement. And the state of Minnesota, the legislatures, the people over there at the Minnesota Department of Commerce and the IRRB, that's those guys in the Iron Range Resource Recovery, I don't know, the board up there, they give them $80 million in state funds to go in and put in a dirty plant that's going to poison the environment, and they don't even tell Leech Lake about it. Wait,
yeah,
did you hear what I said?
Let's be clear. There's glue making these boards now. It isn't like the old days where they'd cut wood and it'd be plywood. No, they put glue and mesh all these pieces of wood to make a plywood. And now where does this excess of toxic glue go?
Well, they're going to have like these holding ponds and these secret things. I mean, initially they're like, oh, it's no problem. We're going to mush in some wetlands, knock out some eagle nests, destroy the last little long-eared bat colony in the North Woods, but it's all good. But then they don't mention they're going to like first emit all this stuff in the air, and which way airborne winds? Fond du Lac, headed towards Duluth, prevailing winds of this toxic facility. And somehow the Waltz administration thinks this is a good idea, and they're trying to ramrod it through. You know what I'm saying is, it's like, look, I think it's time for a new green revolution. I think it's time for hemp. I think it's time for, like, quit doing dumb, dangerous stuff, and oh my God, I'm so upset that the Walsh administration says that they're going to have these dealings with Indian people, consultation, discussions, totally not upfront. This is so wrong. Oh, so wrong. And then we're all supposed to comment like yesterday. Oh my God. Whew, better take a breath.
Yeah, take a breath. Let me tell you, those the forest, like you said in your article, is a living ecosystem. Timber resources are, materials. We need to protect our way of life up there. Like the sugar bush is coming up here in a few weeks, and this is red alert again here. Winona, this is red alert. And I just want to say real quick for people that are listening to us all over Turtle Island, that if you go to protect.mnforest.org, you can see a video on exactly what we're talking about that was produced by Honor the Earth. Winona, I'm just dumbfounded.
Yep. Well, what we want is hemp wood.
Mm-hmm.
We could do like hemp wood. You know what you do? Just squish the hemp up, got some soybean paste, just stick it together under pressure, and you keep your forest. Come on, Walls, let's do something cool. Let's exercise some leadership and not let some corporations from someplace else push you around. Come on, we'll give you, so that's it. So please send in your comments and tell Governor Walsh this is not acceptable for Minnesota.
What could we do hemp wise with $80 million? We could be making manufacturing hemp bricks and getting things going in the new economy here. But yet,
oh my
again,
God, I'm like, so yeah, we're all ready for this. I'm saying like hemp wood, you could build houses. I mean, you can't build houses out of forests anymore because they clear cut them. But you can build houses out of hemp wood. You got structural trusses, and that you can build out of hemp wood, and that's what you should do because it sequesters carbon, and you can keep your forest intact and leave the lorax and the little wild things and the wolves and the and the moose and the bats
and the eagles and the squirrels.
Yeah, let's just leave things right, So I'm not only astonished and dismayed, kind of flabbergasted. And I want to hold the Walsh administration to a higher standard. And there should be an environmental impact statement, a full federal environmental impact statement on this project. And in the meantime, let's come up with a better plan for the North. And I feel like, I see who sponsors your show here. I feel like that the people from Water Legacy and the Friends of the Boundary Waters that have been fighting all these projects, and MN 350 and our sisters and brothers there that have been fighting Line 3, we have a right to say we want a better economy, and we want something good, and we don't want to see you do any, we want to make a better Minnesota. And anyway, help us stand up to the Huber Mill, and let's get a real responsible government unit like Leech Lake to review this project, not the city of Cohasset.
Exactly. And if you guys out there, minpost.com is where you can see this article from Winona and read it for yourself. We got like 3 minutes left here, Winona, and I'm wondering, there's things happening up there, and I don't know if we want to get into it. Maybe we'll get into it a little more next week. But if you want to give a little teaser, there's some shenanigans, it seems like, that are going on.
Oh my God, thanks, Robert. I got a minute here. First, I just want to say, 2-second interruption. I just tried to testify in the Line 5 hearing, and I had severe PTSD.
Yes.
I'm just saying, crazy trauma in the North from Enbridge. So keep it up. We need a criminal corporation to go to jail, not people like me. But besides that, oh my God, over on White Earth, it's like something is unfolding. It's the biggest scandal since the Wadena administration. Looks like Alan Roy got a bunch of Republican lobbyists to write an energy plan and is paying $4.9 million, including to a bunch of tribal corporations. All crazy plans.
Oh,
Oh my
gee.
God. To be revealed. To be revealed. But what I am saying is that this total spectrum, there is some groups that are coming up with proposals for White Earth, that have no experience. And it turns out, corrupt and dirty politics. And man, I'm disappointed, and I actually want an energy plan. I actually want solar and wind. And you got Bob Blake coming on next, and he's going to talk about what we could have and what we need, right?
Exactly. We'll have Bob Blake on next. And Winona, thank you for stopping in. We got to make this more of a regular thing and check in with you. We really appreciate what you do for the community and what you do for our people and everyone in Turtle Island. So Pinigigi, thank you again for being on.
Oh, thanks, Robert. You guys have a good evening, and I'm going to look forward to listening up to Bob Lake, and you guys take care. And next week we'll talk about the scandal as the teepee turns at White Earth.
As the teepee turns. Awesome. Pinigigi, Winona.
Bye.
Hey, also, I heard you singing in a music video too. Just want to give you a quick shout out on that.
Oh, thank you, Robert. My future is not insured in that industry, but
all right, we will talk to you very next.
Bye. Talk to you later. Bye.
Hi, Tony. We'll see you. Well, that was Winona LaDuke, Wendy, with a great report.
Yes, that was wonderful. I wanted to just say quickly that, these people making these decisions, they ask for public comment, but they've already made the decision and they're just asking for public comment to appease people. And I see it happen over and over again. I saw it happen with the wolves. So, I just wanted to bring that up. But yes.
Hey, we'll be right back. You're listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us.
While protecting yourself can be difficult. Fortunately, there's a hotline you can call with any questions. The Department of Indian Work St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on vaccines, booster shots, and testing sites. Right now, booster shots are available to anyone over the age of 18 for those who are eligible. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline can also help with housing, food, medical, and educational support. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19, vaccinations, booster shots, or testing, please call 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986.
Aho, relatives. My name is George McCauley, Omaha Nation. I'm a citizen of the Omaha Nation in Nebraska, but reside in the Twin Cities area. As we head into wintertime, many of us will be back together indoors. It's important to make sure you receive your COVID booster shot. Those 65 and over are recommended to receive their booster dose. Older Americans are more at risk for complications for COVID-19. So get your booster shot to make sure you stay safe and healthy this winter. All 3 COVID vaccine boosters have been approved. Find a vaccine site by calling 651-304-9986 or go to this website, vaccineconnector.mn.gov, 651-304-9986 or go to vaccineconnector.mn.gov.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
Hi, Minnesota. This is David Packman. You can hear my show every weekday at 2, right after Tom Hartman on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950 for Snap Construction again.
Does your home feel colder than it should with the furnace constantly running? Or do certain rooms always feel colder than the rest of the house? Those are signs the attic in your home may need an insulation upgrade. Snap Construction can help by providing a free energy audit for your home's insulation. The average cost of getting new insulation can cost much less than a new furnace. Plus, Snap Construction is a BPI certified installer. That means if you use Snap for your next insulation project, you qualify for up to $650 in total rebates from your energy provider. After my free inspection, my insulation upgrade was completed within a few weeks and the rebate check was in the mail. Snap to it and reduce your heating bill this winter with Snap Construction. Call 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP for your free energy audit when you mention AM 950. Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed exterior contractor and insulation company in the metro.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies overnight with a low around 11 below, Thursday sunny with a high near 3, and Friday sunny with a high around 12. Vinaigrette is locally owned and has been offering the finest olive oils and vinegars since 2009. They have everything from darker white balsamic to cold-pressed extra virgin olive oils from all over the world. Vinaigrette is located at 50th and Xerxes in Minneapolis or at vinaigrettemn.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Well, that was great having Winona on. Really revved up there and pretty excited. Do we know, Ogama, where we can find this report that she speaks of? There's a listener that's asking that by any chance. And I think, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like Joseph Upgard-Peltier posted it in the comments. The EAW is what it's called for the Huber Mill project is on the front page of the City of Cohasset, Minnesota website. That's COHASSET. It was completed by Huber Engineered Woods and the City of Cohasset, according to, again, Joseph Upgard-Peltier. And apparently it's on the border of the tribal forest. So I really want to make sure people are aware that this project, the Leech Lake Nation was not consulted on what was going to happen right on the border of their forest for clear cutting, which is just absurd.
You know, I want to give. We won't have Bob Blake on. He's still in an important a meeting right now, and he will not be on this week, and we're sad about that. But I want to give an opportunity for people to call in at 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We have so many great comments in Facebook. If anybody from Facebook or YouTube want to call in, that would be great too. We have a lot of great listeners that are watching us on Facebook and really have a lot to add. So Joey or anybody out there want to give us a call, that'd be great. Go ahead, Ogama.
You know, and I just want to give a shout out to one of our regular commenters and listeners named Kathleen. She was the one who tipped me off for that RMCP article I was talking about today. And the differences in how the police up there are treating the blockade for anti-vaccine protests versus water and forest protection, river protection protests up there. So miigwech for that, Kathleen. Appreciate it.
Wendy, I know you were pretty excited there when Winona was talking about all the people and the trees and the eagles. What's your take on them clearing out all this wood?
It's going to be an environmental disaster. All these animals are not going to, they'll be displaced. It takes years and years and years to develop a beautiful, wonderful working ecosystem in any area where there's trees and woods and water. And once it's destroyed, it may never, ever come back. So it's a very, very, very sad state of the matter. And, it just, why weren't any of the people up there consulted about this or asked about it? It just seems like everything just gets bulldozed over without any consultation with the people who are going to be directly affected by it. It was very upsetting.
Wow. Definitely. Hey, we got a couple callers on the line here too, and I see we have Blake from Minneapolis who wants to talk a little bit about Line 5. If we can get Blake on, that'd be awesome. Welcome, Blake, to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Hey, everybody. It actually wasn't Line 5. It was the that wood plant. You know, another great idea from the Walls administration that it's kind of pushing me to. I think I'm going to do a write-in vote. I'm going to put Peggy Flanagan for governor, and if I put anybody on the ballot for lieutenant governor, it might not be Walls. So that's what I'm thinking, unless he pulls his head out of his hindquarters there.
Exactly, Blake. We are here, you know, in the Twin Cities where we're broadcasting from, astonished to what's going on to our pristine north that we're used to be so famous for, clean water and trees.
Yeah. And before I forget, last time I called, I had such bad manners. Congratulations, Ogama, for the new little one. And I did meet you and Wendy at your store a couple months back, and that was really cool. So
awesome!
Thanks for everything that you guys do.
Good, thank you.
That's great.
That is great, Wendy.
Yeah, I was on my Facebook page, and one person posted that they got a call from the Walls' administration asking if they would support Governor Walls in his upcoming election, and they were so upset about Line 3 and that Walls used that as one of his platform items to get elected in the first place, and then he just suddenly forgot about that and then went ahead with Line 3, that this person was so upset. The volunteer on the phone said that they are getting, every time they call somebody, that's what they're hearing from people answering the phone, that they're just so upset with Walls right now. And everybody is asking the volunteers to tell Walls what's going on. So
yeah, good point. And it's election time, and it's time to really bring that up again. Hey, we have Joey Peltier online from the deep north. Joey, welcome to Native Roots Radio. Great to hear from you.
Boosh, how's everyone doing today? It's beautiful out. A little bit cold.
Yeah. So I know you work with Winona, and why don't you talk real quick about you running for office real quick, and then we'll get into what you wanted to talk about.
Okay, well, let's save the running for office for another time, since I'm talking for about Honor the Earth work.
Okay, great.
So I actually called in to talk a little bit about the Huber Engineered Woods LLC, and if you take a check at the Cohasset website, you can find their final EAW. And a little bit about EAW, it's pretty much a worksheet that you fill in the blanks. So, they ask you a simple question, you calculate it quickly, and you fill in the blanks. And that's originally what it looks like. And their first EAW has been quoted to make the Huber project, their plant over in Cohasset, the 12th leading producer of CO2 into our atmosphere, and in Minnesota alone. And that's scary. So they came out with the second EAW, and they've used some hullabaloo accounting, that climate washing denial accounting to bring down their CO2 output. And they are now a carbon neutral or carbon negative plant, which honestly, you don't just snap your fingers and disappear all that carbon into nowhere. It doesn't work like that. And we saw during COP25 that, we had a big outcry from the indigenous climate leaders and the international climate leaders that type of speech is not acceptable, and that's not how we move forward in repairing Mother Earth. A little more on the Hubbard project. It is actually projected to be a mile outside of the Leech Lake Reservation line. And that on top of 2 eagles' nests and a federal wetland that connects to the Mississippi River. And they're not being transparent on exactly where they're getting their timber from. They gave us a 75 or a 70 mile to 100 mile radius of the plant itself. And when you look at that map of 100 miles around the plant, you're hitting all 7 of the Chippewa tribe's ceded territories. And especially you're hitting our Chippewa National Forest, which is been cited that they're going to be over harvesting our Chippewa National Forest. That's our ecosystem. That's where we get our sugar bushes. That's where we, tap our maple. That's our berry land. That's where we go picking berries. You can't do that to us. That's how we survive as a culture. That it is an ongoing genocide for them to do actions like these and not consult the tribe alone. So I'm excited to see what Leech Lake has planned. I hear that, they're going to do some training sessions with their locals to do public comments here soon. Keep an eye out with the Leech Lake Reservation. The residents over there will get notifications from the tribe saying, hey, we're doing this training. And they're also digging up and doing the research to do their own EAW to push for an EIS. And that's an environmental impact statement. And that's something that we need to actually understand. What are the damages they're going to be doing with this plant? And, it's the similar what we asked for with, Line 3. Where's the EIS?
Exactly.
So Leech Lake wants an EIS. And until then, we say no to the plant.
Perfect. Joey, thank you so much for calling in and adding more content to what we're talking about today. We really appreciate what you do up there and who you are. So thank you so much for calling in.
Miiglich, I do want to say I'm not the lead on this project for us. We have Leech Lake tribal members that are doing the organizing on the front lines for this. So it is a tribal push. This is coming out of their reservation, and all I'm doing is just trying to help pass the message along. Miiglich.
Well, you're doing that, so thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, Joey Peltier. Wow, Wendy, what next? What the heck?
It's really upsetting to hear about the eagles because the eagles stay in their same nest and they use the nest year after year after year. They may use the same nest annually up to 35 years. And to remove eagles' nests from that area is just it's like throwing people out of their home.
Exactly. And it's generations too, Wen. It's generations of people using the same nest, families. And we know that from the nests that we've visited up in the north too.
Yeah.
But,
the whole thing is very upsetting.
And, it's funny too. Winona said, she's always the bearer of bad news, but geez, she's keeping us current on what the heck's going on up there. And the more we can blast it out there and the more Ogama can talk about it in her news segment, and we can have guests like Joey and Winona LaDuke on to get this out there so people are not sleeping. People want to know. This is our history that we're living through right now the way it is, Wendy. It's crazy. So we got a sacred animal section today with Wendy Pilot. And can you give us a little teaser here in 5 seconds?
I have good news about one of the largest mammals on the earth.
All right. Wow, that's a great tease. We'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Aho, relatives. My name is George McCauley. Umaha Nashinga. I'm a citizen of the Omaha Nation in Nebraska. As we head into wintertime, many of us will be back together indoors. It's important to make sure you receive your COVID booster shot. Older Americans are more at risk for complications for COVID-19. All 3 COVID vaccine boosters have been approved. Find a vaccine site by calling 651-304-9986 or go to vaccineconnector.mn.gov.
Don't let COVID spoil winter fun for your family. Get a vaccine or booster. COVID-19 vaccines are safe, effective, free for everyone, and are now available for anyone over the age of 5. Booster shots are also recommended for everyone 12 and older if it's been more than 5 months since your previous vaccination. To get more tips, schedule your vaccine, or get tested, visit ramseycounty.us/COVID vaccine. That's ramseycounty.us/COVID vaccine.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Well, Wendy, this is your segment, and the show's been unbelievably crazy good, and I know it's going to keep on going in that direction because it sounds like you got some fun facts happening here and some good news. So
Yeah.
take it away, Wendy Pilot.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani, and that means cares for them. I was given that name by my Dega Curtis, and as always, Curtis, thank you. I know that you were listening because I saw that you commented. Curtis is Mashke Hanajinga, and he goes by Walks on White Clouds. So I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure to do that. But I found this good article, and a lot of times, day after day, sometimes I talk about doom and gloom and what's going on with animals and, bad news all the time. But I found a good article. It's actually about elephants, and you'd really be surprised. Maybe before I get to this article, I'm going to do something else first. So just give me a second, and I might have just messed everything up here. But, a lot of people don't think that elephants are really important. They're just these big, giant animals that are in the zoo. But they live and they really maintain the forest and savanna ecosystems for other species and are integrally tied to rich biodiversity. Elephants are important ecosystem engineers as keystone species. They help maintain biodiversity of the ecosystem, they habitat. So they're really big and heavy, and they crush down trees, and they make paths, and they dig holes when there's no water, and they do a lot of things. So elephants are very important. They travel a lot, and they have a lot of seeds in their dung, and they spread seeds so that all the different plants and things can grow. So elephants are really important. And I'm in New York right now, and I'm taking care of my 3-month-old great niece. And I look at her, and she's only 3 months old. And I just hope and I pray that when she's, my age, that there are animals still out in the wild and they're not just kept in captivity. But Kenya, a story about Kenya here, is having an elephant baby boom with its population more than doubling, which is really a great thing. One national park in Kenya is celebrating a recent elephant baby boom. Nestled in the shadows of Mount Kilimanjaro,
Amboseli National Park has seen an unusually high number of elephant calf births in the last few months. We recently had some good news about tigers thriving in India, and now we can look to Africa for other animals come back. Reports out of Kenya's Amboseli National Park state that there's currently an elephant baby boom underway. And this is really great news as the country continues to strengthen its anti poaching legislation and take care to ensure that its elephants are safe. And I'm really glad that they are taking the needed measures to help stop this poaching, because it's really a horrible thing. And poaching, if everybody knows, is they just kill the elephants for their ivory, and the ivory is worth a lot of money and it's sold all over the world. So don't ever buy anything that's made out of ivory. There you go. Over the past 30 years, Kenya's elephant population has flourished. In fact, it's more than doubled from 16,000 elephants in 1989 to 34,800 elephants in 2019. Those numbers will continue to raise thanks to an increase in births. The Amboseli Trust for Elephants, a nonprofit which fights for the conservation and long-term welfare of elephants, states that over 170 calves have been births at the park this year, and there are even a set of twins, which is a very rare occurrence. As elephants have a gestational period of 2 years, for growth comparisons, it's best to look back at 2018. That year, 113 calves were born, making this year's numbers extraordinary. So what's the cause of this baby boom? The biggest factor is the environment. Over the past 2 years, record rains have put an end to the drought that made it life difficult for these incredible animals. Though the rains also caused a lot of flooding and people lost their lives and homes, the much needed water has regenerated vegetation. This means that fewer elephants have perished due to starvation and dehydration. But it's not just the weather that's creating a better environment for elephants. The Kenyan government has also made a concerted effort to crack down on poaching. In the last couple of years, we have managed to tame poaching in this country. Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife Nabaib Balabo told reporters during a World Elephant Day event at the park. In 2019, adjustments were made to Kenya's wildlife laws that included stiffer fines and more prison time for poachers. As a result, the number of poached elephants has dropped from 80 in 2018 to 34 in 2019. And right now in 2020, 2 years ago, that number has dwindled to 7. We don't have any new numbers for 2022, but they'll be out in a while. While this is all good news, conservationists are still hard at work tackling another important issue facing elephant conflict with humans. As the population expands and lands historically belonging to elephants are converted to human use, there are more room for conflicts. In fact, elephants invading farms and killing livestock, which then triggers retaliation, is becoming an increasing problem. However, when we look at Kenya's success, there is room for hope, particularly when compared to the rest of Africa, which saw an overall 33% decline in elephant population from 2007 to 2014. Kenya's mix of good fortune with the weather and anti-poaching legislation is certainly a bright spot in the animal conservation world. Overall, Kenya's anti-poaching efforts are also high. The elephants are generally safer, which means fewer get killed than in other parts of Africa, says the project manager at the Amboseli Trust for Elephants. And Kenya's elephant population is slowly increasing. You can watch the baby boom video. You could just Google baby boom video and you'll be able to watch this cute little video
video of the baby elephants being born, and it also shows the twins also, which is very rare. So I hope that you guys like that story, and I think all animals are important and they're here for a reason.
They're all our relatives, Wendy.
They
We're
are.
all related, and we're all in the circle. What a great show! Leading off with Ogama with the news, Peeny Gigi, and Winona. Joey stopped in, a couple phone calls, and Wendy ending the show in a good way. All right, really appreciate it. The ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It is the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
Free Leonard Peltier. Stop line 3. Please get vaccinated and boosted.
Anything else? All right,
See you
see you
tomorrow.
all. Exactly. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks again for listening. Have a great night, everyone.
Supporting the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities